Welcome to the Tattoo Marketing Podcast. On this week's episode, we have Jesse Najera from Old Town Inc. We talked about loving your work, creating client memories, making tough decisions, and marketing strategies for studios. So enjoy. Yeah. So Jesse, why don't you tell me how you got into tattooing?
I've been an artist ever since I was a kid, elementary, drawing, painting, I used to love drawing Marvel comic stuff and anime stuff. And then I still love it, the Chicano style with the lowriders. And then that's what I think, looking at the lowrider art got me into tattooing because they would have artists and art that would show you tattoos. So as a kid, I think that's what sparked my interest. And then it wasn't until I was 25 years old when I decided I needed to work and make money. And I knew tattooing was going to make me some good money. I had my son who was, about 7 or 8 years old at that time. And I just needed to get serious about life and change some things to stay busy. And so that's when I decided to go to the community college in the area. I took fine arts classes just to broaden my horizons with different mediums. And I feel like that also made it faster for me to advance at tattooing at the same time. So at the same time, I was working on tattoo. And I didn't have anybody to teach me. At 25, I was taking full-time classes. I was learning well. Watching with a cartoon, a whole bunch of videos. I was tattooing my friends, at people's houses.
Yeah.
So I was, basically tattooing from home. And my third year of tattooing, I ended up getting a job at a tattoo studio. And from there, it just changed. A lot of things changed. I stopped going to school. And I just dedicated myself to full-time tattoo artist. But it wasn't until I went to Vienna Tattoo Studio, where my friend was the owner. He taught me everything I know for advertising, how to run a studio. He helped me move into my new studio and what to do on, paperwork and where to go. And we found a spot in Old Town Alexandria in Virginia. And he taught me along the way how to run the business and how to open up.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. I didn't know how to do, I didn't know anything about taxes. I didn't know anything about how to open up a business and credit. And he guided me into that direction. So I just did everything he said and it worked out.
Nice. That's cool that the shop owner helped you, because I've talked to a good amount of tattoo artists, and when they leave, it's usually to start their own studio. It's usually not, the owner's usually not very happy. So that's pretty awesome.
Well,
he was super supportive.
Well, we decided that, when we would have conversations and meetings, we would talk about how as friends, we were going to make money together and off of each other. So we made sure we understood that we were going to make money as business partners and as friends and with love for art. So there was never any confusion. I let him know 8 months before I left that I was going to open up my tattoo studio. That way he could be set up with other people in line to help him out with his studio. And then I would have his help, opening mine. And I think that communication was key because, he was prepared. I was prepared. It wasn't like I just left, So it was cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to do it. And like I said, a cool story you don't hear very often.
I know. I know. Trust me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And I feel like, that way, you can always refer people if you don't have time or if they don't have time.
Right.
It just benefits everybody.
Me and him are still really good friends. He is family, and we still share clients back and forth. I advertise him on my stuff. He advertises me on his stuff, and I'll get phone calls from clients like, hey, we saw you on Vienna Tattoo Studio page, and that's why we're reaching out. And same thing. So, I think it's important that people communicate, and if they understand that if you're making money with friends, there is no competition, there is enough people, there are enough clients. There's no reason, for the other negativity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. So at what point did you decide that or at least start thinking about starting your own studio?
The point when I first thought about it was because, like I said, my friend Tommy, I was running his studio, and we were thinking about different ideas of what to do next to make more money. And I have a family, I have 2 kids, and for them, I always try to do better every year. And that was the next thing. That was the next level up as a tattoo artist for me, to open up my tattoo studio. Um, um, and with the knowledge that Tommy gave me, it was pretty simple to just get up every day and go do and work on something. But yeah, it was all motivation from a buddy of mine, to do it. And it's weird because it turned out differently than what I expected, because I had people working and helping me out in the studio, but right now it's really cool that people from all over the world are coming and guest spotting. And that I never thought was going to happen. So that's one thing that I'm very proud of. I mean, these people are very cool, and they come with different styles from like London, from Miami, whatever it is, and they all have a different beautiful style. So it's really interesting to have that here in Alexandria, Virginia. We don't really get that diverse with the different styles.
Yeah, I was even looking at your style. You seem to have you're not just stuck in like anime or something like that. You have a handful of different styles, and they're all really good, which is something, normally artists will stay with one thing, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But when I do see artists like yourself that have multiple styles that are really good, you talk to them, and every time, like they started liking art when they were a kid, and this has been something like they drew, and it's just a certain love for the art,
Right.
that and they just become amazing.
Well, I have a friend, man, that tattoos, and he has a beautiful style, and he only sticks to one style. But we had a conversation a long time ago, and I told him, like, I don't mind doing the little small tattoos every day, the simple hearts, the birds that these families are getting, that some tattoo artists are tired of doing. But to me, it's meeting the people, and it's all about love for the people and that story, and me being part of that memory. A lot of those people have a very meaningful memory to those tattoos. So, to me, it became very special to stay in love with something like that. So that's been very, very cool. And we get a lot of that in the studio too. So I mean, it's a blessing to be a part of that memory.
Definitely, man. So Jesse, when you started your own studio, did you already have a pretty good client list, or was this kind of okay, so you knew you were going to be successful?
When I would like to open up in Florida, but I decided to stay closer to home. I had a 9-month wait list. Well, because I knew that if something went wrong, I still had some work to fall back upon, So the 9 months gave me a long time, to fall back on like secure money.
Yeah, and now you have, I think, is it 3 other artists in your studio?
Right now, I have the apprentice, and I had to let go of 4 artists.
Oh, really?
It was all, I don't know, it was another part of, people not doing enough work, partying too much, and the people not being honest with the payouts and handling the money, canceling too many appointments with clients and keeping deposits. So because of those reasons, I had to fire, the people.
Got it. And I remember seeing your post about the one girl who is the only person getting negative reviews to your shop. And I looked through your reviews. I mean, you have a lot of amazing ones, and then she, you could tell, just dragged the shop down, which is
It's unfortunate. She was a really good friend of mine, I thought. And she's been doing that at previous tattoo studios. So she was driving over an hour to come to this tattoo studio. And I was wondering, like, that's probably why she was running away from her area, that she couldn't work. So she's finding somewhere else. And, but the main concern to me was that, or the main thing that got my attention is that my clients that come to the studio are very nice people. Very nice people, man. So when they were complaining, I started seeing a pattern, and it wasn't right. It wasn't good. And for those people that they booked appointments, they lost deposits every time they book an appointment. And so to me, I was like, I need to post this up there, because there's more people that need to see this who have not spoken to me and messaged me. And people started contacting me like, hey, Jesse, like, what should I do? Like, I made a deposit with her and I'm not getting it, how do I get it back? Or what do I, continue to work? So I'm working every day on talking to these people on how we're going to get this thing resolved. One of her old coworkers messaged me, and they were thanking me for posting that post too, because they also had the same issue with her, and they thought that she left because of something that they did. But it's not, it's just, to me, I mean, it's just a manipulation, and it's like a scam,
Yeah, setting up, just taking the deposit and running is kind of it's a little shit.
It is. It's a little strange, especially for a busy tattoo studio. I mean, we don't have a slow season. December, is like one of the slow seasons for a lot of people, a lot of businesses, and it's the most busiest season for me. And her numbers dropped drastically in December, and that was another red flag.
It's unfortunate, but it's definitely one of the parts of owning a business, which I know I can tell you myself. Like, when I started mine, I started bringing employees on. Like, the last thing I thought is, I guess, not dealing with them, but having to have those hard conversations and make those decisions. And, people who start their own shop are normally, they have a good work ethic and they're entrepreneurs. And so it's hard to understand other people not having that same drive and compassion. And it sucks to see, like I said, drag the shop.
Well, yeah. And, somebody, my girlfriend, she was telling me, of course you want a business owner wants people who work just like they do, and that's hard to find sometimes.
That is. So when you're gonna start hiring other artists, what's your process? What are you planning on doing?
So I think the first thing that I'm looking at right now, because there's a guy that wants to stay at the studio, he's from Jersey. So the main thing that I'm going to look at is the quality of work, and me and him were talking about the situation too, and his response was like, Jesse, like, the patience and the love, you can just see it. Your work will tell. You don't even have to talk to anybody, but their work, their tattoos will show you how much detail they put into their work, how much patience they have, how much love they have. And I was like, that is you, and I would like you to be here with me and work with me. And he came in and worked last week with me, and he's like, Jesse, I'm staying. I'm coming back, So there's another guy coming from California. His work is beautiful, and I told him the same thing. I would like to have you here because I can see your work, and I can tell that you have the patience and the love. And the second thing that I'm going to do is just have basically a reference, to call a couple of references that they have, the last tattoo studios they work with, see what they can tell me. And I think those are going to be very much the key, because a lot of complaints come from the people that work with before too. So they should know. They should know. If they left the studio on good terms or bad terms, I want to know.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Usually, if you have an amazing artist looking for, or an artist, I guess, just looking for somewhere new, it can sometimes unless they're trying to move to a different state or something, can raise a few red flags.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little bit of that research, but I think looking at their work will speak for itself too, to see how serious they are about the art. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. So switching gears a little bit, you were talking about, before we actually started recording this, the marketing you do for your studio. You do a handful of different things. Can you kind of go over all the things you're doing, and then we can dive into a few?
Right. So Google to me was the one that really got my attention. I was running Google for Vienna Tattoo Studio a couple years ago, which brought in the most clients for us. And then some of the clients brought it to my attention that I should get on Yelp. So I started doing Yelp too. So I do Google and Yelp. And it's like you set it up. It's just like a Facebook or an Instagram profile. You post on it all the time as much as you can. Update it all the time as much as you can. It's actually better, in my opinion. It's been doing better than Instagram. It keeps you more busy. It brings real people who are really trying to buy. Instagram, I do love it too. So I run ads on there for guest artists, full-time artists, and also if I have an artist coming in, I might advertise on there too for them. But most of it is all on Google and Yelp. And the ones I just started from like the papers, like the local paper. So we're in Old Town Alexandria. It's a very busy, nice location with a lot of government, like professional people who come in. So it's a good thing to market in the area too. You know what I mean? To hit that location. So I'm doing that too. And then I'm playing with, having fun, just playing around with other stuff. So Univision is what I want to do next and see how it goes with them. And I'm pretty sure something else will spark from that. So I've been I'm going to start doing some research to see what else is popular. So the next thing is going to be looking at what's popular in the tattoo community. Because I know back in the day, and I don't know if it's still okay to advertise on the tattoo magazines, but right now, whatever is best for a tattoo studio and tattoo artist to be marketed in, I'm going to try to find that out because I don't know. I used to get the magazines, I used to have subscriptions, but I don't know if that kind of died down now or not. But what do you think?
Yeah, my thing with the magazines is, unless it's like a local thing, most people aren't gonna. Depending on the artist, like, I would say the average person won't travel. Like myself, like if there's a good artist and he has something that I know he's great at, like I'll fly across the country because it's going to be on my body the rest of my life. But most people would rather just go into a local shop and have something convenient.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, that's what I like about Google, Instagram, Facebook. TikTok's become one of those big platforms, especially for tattoo artists. Okay. Yeah, but I 100% agree with what you're saying about Google. It definitely drives the highest quality potential clients, because they're actually looking for it. It's not just seeing it scrolling through a feed.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing I'm going to start researching on. What's popular for tattoo artists right now to advertise. But yeah, Google and Yelp has been going great, and I think everybody should be on there, even if you're an artist by yourself at a tattoo studio. You should have your own Google and Yelp page, because it's free. It's free until you start running the ads, but you will still get clients from that. If you want to run the ads, because tattoo artists run it on Instagram, I think it's better to do it on Google or Yelp. I think
agreed, 100%.
Yeah, I think it's better because they'll see more traffic, and then it helps the whole studio. Because people will see their work, and why not put the studio you're working at? Show some love too to them. It'll make everybody happy. Everybody. It's a win-win situation.
Agreed, 100% agreed. So as far as social media growth? Like you have a good amount of followers. What do you attribute that to?
I'm gonna say, to be honest, if when people have, I think I had a client there last week that was like looking at my followers on my phone, and they're like, "Damn, like why do you have so many followers today?" And I'm like, "It's Google and Yelp." Because when I go on Google and Yelp, I always tag like my page or the tattoo studio page. That's my best response to that is Google and Yelp. So it's growing every day. Every day I open up the app and I can see who's following. There's always, people following every day.
Yeah, you have a pretty damn good sized following, so you're definitely doing something right, man. Yeah, and obviously the quality of your work, and one of the other things is you post frequently, which is another thing I think studios and artists could, some of them are amazing about it. Some of them it's every 2 months, and it's just such a visual thing that like that is
it's a lot of work. I do it every morning. I wake up about 5:30 in the morning and I start posting before I take my daughter to school.
There you go.
And then I do it every night before I go to bed. So it's every night. I try to do it every night,
Yeah, I mean, that's, again, I think just a little bit of, I don't know if you call it discipline or just making it part of your routine. I mean, even if someone posted 3 times a week and it's just a picture of a tattoo, which is super simple, that would be better than nothing.
Yeah. And I've seen people do that, and it, when you're trying to help people, stay busy at a studio, we want them to be I want them to be financially stable, but when you see somebody slacking in that, we tell them, but some people don't want to do it. And it definitely can be a little annoying, and it makes me sad, to be honest, because if I tell somebody, hey, like you should post more, and then they don't do it, it's like, damn, I'm trying to help you grow. A lot of artists want to grow, but, and you should be wanting to grow financially at the same time too.
Yeah, especially if you're, wanting at some point to open your own studio, getting that, getting your name out there is huge.
It is good. It's really good. And people need to see their work. I mean, there's a lot of people that love all different types of styles, and they will see it if they don't post.
So you were talking earlier about your, you had the studio that you worked at, and then he helped you, and then you have all these guest artists coming in from other countries. So it seems like you collaborate a lot with other artists.
Yeah, I do. I actually I go to Miami pretty frequently. So one of the guys who saw my advertising on Instagram to hire guest spot artists, he contacted me. He wanted to come and visit the studio, but at that moment he never came. So when I went to Miami, I went and I told my girlfriend, like, hey, we should go get tattooed by him. So I met him in person, and I met the other guys at the studio working there, and he eventually ended up coming to my studio after that, and then now his buddy is there right now. So it's just been really cool, man, just talking and meeting people. And there's another guy that comes from Texas, and he came from the advertising on Instagram, and he's coming back again in April, just because he liked the vibe,
That's pretty cool, man. And I've never talked to anybody else that does, I guess, advertising for guest artists on Instagram. That's a really good idea.
And you know what? It was an accident. And I'm not gonna lie, it was just an accident that I stumbled upon, and I'm like, and not to keep bringing her up, the girl that I fired, but she was a manager and she was kind of against it. She was like, Jesse, you really want all these people coming into the studio? And and I was like, yeah, so it's been a blessing, it's been a blessing to be able to work with everybody and try to meet new artists. I love artists, I love art, man. So I think it's really, really cool. I'm gonna continue to do it and see where it goes, and see what happens. I did have another guy that reached out to me on Instagram. He saw my advertising and he was like, Jesse, I see your advertising here in Michigan, and I don't want you wasting your dollars on advertising for a city or a state that you're not in. And 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 I was like, I took that into consideration, and I was like, well, I'm getting a lot of traffic from other artists that don't live in the area, so it's actually going good. So then after I wrote him, I did two. I did two advertising. Now I do one for the local area and one for all over the world. So I just did two separate ones.
That's awesome.
And I don't mind like losing, a little bit of money. I mean, I'll just work extra. I mean,
Yeah, it sounds like you have a.
I was gonna say, I mean, that's part of the game, right? Like, just advertising. You lose some and you win some. It's okay.
Yeah, I feel. Well, what we see is people are so scared to lose money and not make a return on it that they never try. But the only way to get better is to do that. Is to if you're going to do it yourself, fail a couple of times while you learn, or hire somebody that knows what they're doing to do it for you.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's okay. I mean, I've been working 6 days a week, just trying to bust my ass, man.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing it right, man. If you're having fun and you're making money, that's good life.
Definitely fun. It's definitely fun. It's a beautiful thing. So it's great. It's been going good. It keeps me busy. Helps other artists, helps the family, so it's all good.
Got it, man. If somebody wants to start their own shop, what would be your advice to them?
To open up their own shop? I would, my advice to them would be, I guess to first, get your credit in order, have your credit score. You have to have a savings. Find a good location that's busy in your area, close to you, somewhere what I did was I walked around for like 3 hours a day, and I started looking at signs for leasing, like phone numbers. They had emails. I started calling and contacting, emailing everybody the same day. Sometimes those people picked up and emailed me back that same day, so I would get information and I would make appointments to go look at the space. At the time, I didn't even know what square footage was, I learned it all as I went, and I'm like, all right, this is too much, and then I started like too much space, or because they ask you, how much space do you need? And I didn't know, so I would go check these spaces out, and then I started learning, what 1,000, 700 square foot is, or what's 5,000, what it looks like, and so just walking around the area that you're targeting, getting prices, seeing what your budget is, having a budget. I think that's probably the most important thing. But definitely, if you have bad credit, fixing your credit is going to be important, and saving some money.
Let's say somebody, an owner, he already has a studio or she already has a studio, and they're looking to grow. What would be your advice to them?
So, looking to grow, definitely, I think the main key that I'm trying to do for that myself is just continue advertising for guest artists and full-time positions, because you want to have a backup of friends and connections that when some of these artists leave you, and you might not have them. You want to have people on standby that you can depend on and reach out to them and be like, hey, I'm planning on opening up in the studio. Would you help me in this area? Would you be willing to move to this area? And even then, if you have those connections, if you have 2 or 3 connections in one area, those might be the people that will be helping you in that area possibly. So the advertising and having the friendship with the artist, I think that's a really good idea. That's what I'm working on right now. Because I do plan on opening up a new studio. I'm actually in the area in Arlington, Virginia, where I'm looking to hopefully within a year or two to open up the next spot.
Are you going to expand, or are you opening a second
location? Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. It'll be a second location.
That's when you know you're doing it right, man.
Thank you so much. I was looking at Miami or Wynwood, Florida, but I'm still studying on that.
At least you know it'd be nice and warm all year long.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do. I've been talking about opening up another office somewhere warmer as well, just so like during the winter it's so damn cold here, somewhere to go.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
That helps.
And, get away, have a good time.
Yeah, 100%. One more question I did have, and I totally forgot about this. You have an art gallery in your studio.
So it's an art gallery that is still in work in progress. So we've been open for a little bit over a year now, and the art gallery needs to grow some more. So right now we do have a lot of anime art, original art, that just got put up, and then I need to work on some of my art. So I'm at, but there's a whole bunch of anime. There's a couple pieces by me on there. So it's still growing. It's not fully active right now.
Got it. Let me know when you start selling some art, man. I got a big office that I need to put some stuff up, and I'd love original art like that, man. That's my thing.
Sounds good. I've been definitely doing a little bit of research on my next steps are going to be for the gallery. So I'll keep you posted on that. I'm going to post online about it too. But yeah, I'll definitely keep you in touch and updated on that too.
I appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, it was great talking, man. And we'll chat soon. I appreciate your time, man. I really do. Thank you.
Okay. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.